Imagine you are walking down the street and someone calls out to you. You turn and they are holding out a gift, beautifully wrapped, tied with a ribbon. You pause. What do? You could ignore it, you could shake your head and walk away, or you could reach out, take it, and unwrap it with delight. Now, suppose I told you that every day, God is standing in front of you, holding out something far greater than any earthly gift, His blessings. The question is, will you take them? The nature of God's blessings. Many people think of blessings as money in the bank, a good job, a comfortable home, and while these things are not bad, they are only shadows of what real blessings look like. A man may have a full wallet but an empty heart. A woman may have the finest house yet live in a prison of fear. But when God blesses, He does not just fill hands, He fills hearts. He does not just provide things, He provides transformation. God's blessings are often unexpected. They come in the form of wisdom when we lack direction, peace when the storm is raging, strength when we feel too weak to go on. They come not always in the way we want, but in the way we truly need. The door must be opened. Now, imagine a person standing inside a house with locked doors and shuttered windows. Outside, the sun is shining, the breeze is fresh, but inside it remains dark and stale. The light does not force its way in, it must be welcomed. God's blessings work the same way. He does not push His way into unwilling hearts. He offers, He invites, He knocks. But the door must be opened from within. Too often we miss His blessings not because He withholds them, but because we are too busy, too doubtful, or too distracted to receive them. The blessing in disguise. Some of you may be thinking, but what about my hardships? What about my suffering? If God wants to bless me, why am I going through this? Let me tell you something strange but true. Some of the greatest blessings come disguised as trouble. The seed must break before the plant can grow. The gold must pass through fire before it shines. And sometimes, what feels like a setback is actually the first step towards something greater. Look back at your life. Are there not moments where something painful led to something beautiful? A lost job that led to a better calling. A closed door that forced you down a new and better path. A disappointment that turned into unexpected joy. God is always at work, even when we do not see it. He does not waste pain. He transforms it. Conclusion, will you receive it? So here we are again. The gift is being offered. The hand is stretched out. The question is not whether God wants to bless you. He does. The question is, will you receive it? To receive God's blessings, we must first open our hearts. We must trust even when we do not understand. And above all, we must remember that His blessings are not just for our comfort, but for our transformation. So today, right now, pause for a moment. Look up, open your heart, and receive. When people think of blessings, they often picture material wealth, success, or an easy life. It is natural to associate blessings with prosperity, as the world measures success in terms of what can be seen, counted, or held. A well-paying job, a luxurious home, good health, and financial security are often considered signs of divine favor. While these things can indeed be gifts, they are not the essence of God's blessings. God's blessings go beyond material comfort. They are about transformation, shaping the soul, refining character, and drawing a person closer to Him. Material wealth is temporary. It comes and goes, subject to circumstances beyond human control. A person may have great riches today and lose them tomorrow through an economic collapse, a natural disaster, or an unexpected illness. If blessings were merely about financial prosperity, then those who struggle with poverty or illness would be considered outside of God's favor, yet history is filled with examples of people who had little but lived deeply blessed lives. Some of the greatest spiritual figures, prophets, saints, and teachers, lived in simplicity, facing hardship, rejection, and suffering, yet they were undoubtedly blessed. Their blessings were not in material abundance, but in the transformation of their hearts, the depth of their faith, and the peace that transcended their struggles. Transformation is at the heart of true blessing because God is not primarily concerned with external circumstances, but with the condition of the soul. A person can have all the riches in the world and still feel empty, lost, and unsatisfied. There are countless stories of wealthy individuals who, despite their success, struggle with depression, addiction, and a deep sense of meaninglessness. This is because material things can only satisfy for a moment. They cannot fill the deepest longing of the human heart. God's blessings work differently. They do not merely change circumstances, but change people from within. When God blesses, He reshapes desires, renews the mind, and strengthens the heart. He brings peace in the midst of chaos, joy in suffering, and purpose in the face of uncertainty. One of the greatest examples of this kind of transformation is seen in how people respond to hardship. It is easy to believe in blessings when everything is going well, but true transformation happens when faith is tested. A person facing loss, sickness, or failure may feel abandoned, but often it is in these moments that God's greatest blessings unfold. Hardship forces people to look beyond themselves, to seek strength outside of their own abilities. It strips away pride, deepens compassion, and builds resilience. A person who has suffered and emerged stronger, wiser, and more compassionate has received a greater blessing than someone who has never faced difficulty but remains spiritually stagnant. Blessings that transform do not always feel like blessings at first. Sometimes they come through pain, disappointment, or waiting. A closed door may feel like rejection, but it may be God's way of redirecting a person towards something greater. Delays can teach patience, failures can build humility, and challenges can deepen dependence on God. Many times, what appears to be a loss is actually a blessing in disguise, preparing a person for something beyond what they imagined. When looking back, people often realize that the moments they thought were setbacks were actually the turning points that led them to a deeper understanding, a stronger faith, and a more meaningful life. God's blessings are also evident in how He changes the way people see the world. A transformed person does not need external riches to feel wealthy, nor do they need constant ease to feel at peace. Their perspective shifts. They begin to find joy in simple things, to appreciate what they once overlooked, and to see life through the lens of gratitude. They learn that true wealth is found in relationships, in wisdom, in purpose, and in the presence of God. They become content not because everything is perfect, but because they trust that whatever comes, they are being shaped for something greater. Transformation is also seen in how a blessed person affects others. A person whose life has been changed by God's blessings becomes a source of blessing to others. They offer kindness where there was once indifference, patience where there was once frustration, generosity where there was once selfishness. Their words carry encouragement, their actions reflect love, and their presence brings peace. They become channels through which God's blessings flow, not by giving out material wealth, but by sharing wisdom, faith, and hope. Their transformation does not end with them. It spreads, touching lives and making a difference in ways that outlast anything material. God's blessings are not about making life easy, but about making people strong. Strength of character, depth of wisdom, and the ability to love selflessly. These are the true signs of blessing. A transformed life is a testimony to the work of God, a reflection of His power to turn brokenness into beauty, fear into faith, and struggle into victory. Those who seek only material blessings may find themselves constantly chasing after more, never satisfied, always feeling like something is missing. But those who embrace the blessings of transformation discover a richness that cannot be lost, a peace that does not depend on circumstances, and a joy that endures through all seasons of life. This is why God's greatest blessings are not about material wealth, but about transformation. What He offers is not just a temporary increase in comfort, but a lasting change in who a person is. He does not simply give things, He gives new life, a new heart, and a new way of seeing the world. Those who understand this find themselves truly blessed, not because of what they have, but because of who they have become. Receiving blessings requires an open heart, because blessings are not just something that are given, they must be accepted. A gift, no matter how valuable, remains useless if the recipient refuses to take it. Many times, People miss out on God's blessings not because they are unavailable, but because their hearts are closed, distracted, or resistant. An open heart is one that is ready to receive, willing to trust, and prepared to embrace whatever God offers, even when it does not come in the expected form. A closed heart can come from many things. Pride can make a person believe they do not need anything from God, thinking they can manage life on their own. Fear can cause someone to hesitate, worrying that accepting God's blessings might require change, sacrifice, or stepping into the unknown. Doubt can prevent a person from fully believing that God truly wants to bless them, making them skeptical of His goodness. Past pain and disappointment can harden a heart, making it reluctant to trust again. These barriers do not stop God from offering blessings, but they do stop people from receiving them. An open heart is one that is humble enough to acknowledge its need. It does not approach God with a list of demands or conditions, but with the willingness to receive whatever He chooses to give. It recognizes that blessings do not always come in expected ways, and that sometimes what appears to be a loss or a trial is actually a hidden blessing. An open heart does not resist change, but embraces it, knowing that true blessings often transform rather than simply comfort. Many times, people pray for blessings but remain closed to the way those blessings come. They may ask for wisdom but resist the experiences that teach it. They may ask for peace but refuse to let go of the things that cause their anxiety. They may ask for guidance but hesitate to follow when the path is revealed. Blessings require more than just a request. They require readiness to accept them fully. A person who asks for a blessing must also prepare their heart to receive it, even if it comes in a way they do not expect. A heart that is open to blessings is also a heart that trusts. Trust is essential because blessings often come in ways that do not make sense at first. Sometimes, what looks like an unanswered prayer is actually a greater blessing in disguise. A person may pray for success in a certain career, but when the opportunity does not come, they may later realize that God was leading them to something better. A relationship that ends may feel like a loss, but in time it may be seen as protection from something that was not truly right. Trusting that God knows best and that His blessings are always for good allows a person to receive them without hesitation or resistance. Receiving blessings also requires gratitude. An open heart is a grateful heart, one that recognizes even the smallest blessings and does not take them for granted. Many times, people miss out on blessings simply because they are looking for something bigger while ignoring what is already in front of them. A person who is always waiting for the next big thing may fail to appreciate the small daily blessings, health, relationships, moments of peace, unexpected kindness. Gratitude opens the heart even further, making room for more blessings to be received. Another important part of having an open heart is being willing to let go of what is no longer needed. Sometimes, holding on to the past, whether it be pain, regret, or even past successes, can block the blessings that are meant to come next. A person who clings too tightly to what was may struggle to receive what is now being offered. Letting go is an act of trust, a way of making space for something new. It is only with open hands that new blessings can be received. Receiving blessings also requires a heart that is not only open to receiving but also to sharing. A person who hoards blessings, keeping them only for themselves, will find that the flow of blessings slows. Blessings are meant to be passed on, to be shared, to create ripples that extend beyond just one individual. An open heart is one that understands that blessings are not just personal, but also communal. When a person receives wisdom, they share it to help others. When they receive kindness, they extend it. When they receive resources, they use them to bless others. In doing so, they open themselves up to even greater blessings. Faith is another key aspect of receiving blessings. Many blessings require taking a step of faith before they are fully realized. A person who is waiting for all conditions to be perfect before they step into what God is offering may never move forward. Blessings often require action, a willingness to walk into the unknown with trust. A person praying for an opportunity must also be willing to take the first step when the door opens. A person seeking guidance must be willing to follow the direction given, even if it feels uncertain. Faith is the bridge between a blessing being offered and a blessing being received. Sometimes, the greatest blessings come through challenges. An open heart does not reject difficulty, but looks for the blessing within it. Growth, strength, and deeper understanding often come through hardship, A heart that is open to learning from every experience, rather than resisting or complaining, finds itself blessed even in situations that seem difficult. Trials can shape character, deepen faith, and prepare a person for even greater blessings in the future. An open heart sees beyond the immediate struggle and trusts that something valuable is being formed in the process. Receiving blessings also requires patience. Not all blessings come immediately. Some take time, requiring persistence, endurance, and trust in the waiting. An open heart does not give up when answers do not come right away. It remains hopeful, knowing that timing is also a part of the blessing. Sometimes, what seems like a delay is actually preparation, ensuring that when the blessing comes, it is received with full readiness. A heart that is willing to wait without losing faith is a heart that remains open to receiving all that God has in store. Another aspect of receiving blessings is being open to new perspectives. Sometimes people expect blessings to come in a specific way, and when they do not, they fail to recognize them. A heart that is flexible, willing to see things differently, and open to change is more likely to recognize and embrace blessings, even when they come in unexpected forms. A person may expect a blessing to come through a promotion, but may find it instead in a new opportunity they had not considered. They may expect joy to come through achieving a goal, but may find it instead in a relationship or a new passion. Being open to different ways in which blessings arrive allows a person to fully receive them. Difficulties are often disguised blessings because they bring growth, strength, and transformation in ways that comfort and ease never could. When people face struggles, their first instinct is often to resist, question, or even feel abandoned. Hardships can feel unfair, painful, and overwhelming, making it difficult to see any good within them. However, when looking back on life, it becomes clear that some of the greatest personal developments, deepest wisdom, and strongest faith are born out of challenging experiences. The very things that once seemed like obstacles often turn out to be the paths to unexpected blessings. A person who has never faced difficulty may live in comfort, but they may also remain untested, lacking resilience and depth. It is through challenges that strength is developed. Just as muscles grow stronger through resistance, character is built through hardship. A person who has faced failure learns perseverance. Someone who has experienced loss gains compassion. A person who has struggled through uncertainty develops faith. These are not just survival skills, but blessings that shape a person into someone who can handle life's ups and downs with wisdom and courage. Hardships also have a way of revealing what truly matters. In times of success, it is easy to be distracted by temporary pleasures, but difficulties strip away the unnecessary, forcing a person to focus on what is truly important. When everything is going well, it is easy to take things for granted, but when faced with trials, people often gain a new appreciation for what they have. A person who has been through illness may no longer take their health for granted. Someone who has experienced financial struggles may develop a deeper gratitude for the simple things in life. These realizations bring a richness to life that could not be gained without the difficulties that led to them. Many times, struggles serve as redirection. A person may have a certain plan for their life, but difficulties can force them to take a different path, one that ultimately leads to something greater. A job loss may seem like a disaster at first, but it can lead to a new opportunity that is far better than what was originally planned. A failed relationship may feel like heartbreak, but it can open the door to someone who is a better match. What appears to be a setback is often just a shift in direction, guiding a person towards something they would never have considered on their own. Growth often requires discomfort. A seed must break open before it can grow into a tree. Gold must go through fire to be refined. A butterfly struggles to break free from its cocoon, but if that struggle were removed, it would never develop the strength to fly. In the same way, human beings grow through their struggles. The very experiences that seem the most difficult are often the ones that prepare people for their greatest purpose. A person who has never known hardship may find themselves unprepared when challenges eventually arise. But someone who has faced difficulties and overcome them develops the strength to handle whatever comes their way. Difficulties also teach reliance on something greater than oneself. When everything is in control, it is easy to believe that strength comes from within. But when faced with challenges beyond one's ability to handle, it becomes clear that there is a need for faith, for trust, for something beyond human effort. Struggles break the illusion of self-sufficiency and open the heart to deeper spiritual growth. Many times, it is in moments of crisis that people turn to prayer, reflection, and a deeper search for meaning. The struggle itself may not be enjoyable, but the spiritual depth that comes from it is a profound blessing. Hardships also create empathy. A person who has never known pain may struggle to understand the suffering of others, but someone who has been through difficulties develops compassion. They can comfort others with the same comfort they once needed. They can offer wisdom that comes not from theory but from experience. A person who has struggled with financial difficulties is more likely to be generous when they see someone in need. Someone who has known loneliness will be more likely to reach out to others. This kind of empathy is a gift not only to the person who possesses it, but to everyone they encounter. Challenges also force people to let go of what is no longer serving them. Sometimes people hold on to things, relationships, habits, beliefs, that are actually preventing them from growing. A difficult experience can serve as a wake-up call, showing a person what they need to change. It may be uncomfortable, but it is ultimately for their good. A person who experiences betrayal may learn to set better boundaries. Someone who faces repeated failure in one area may realize they are meant for something different. Letting go is painful, but it makes room for something better. The passage of time often reveals how difficulties were blessings in disguise. In the middle of a trial, it is hard to see the purpose, but looking back, the pieces come together. Many people, when reflecting on their lives, recognize that their greatest lessons, strongest moments, and most profound changes came from their hardest times. What once seemed unbearable turns out to be the very thing that shaped them into who they were meant to be. Difficulties also cultivate patience and endurance. In a world that values instant results, hardships teach the power of waiting, of persistence, of trusting the process. A farmer does not see the harvest immediately after planting the seed. Growth takes time. The lessons learned in difficulty often do not show their full impact right away, but they are working beneath the surface, preparing something greater. Those who endure come out not only stronger but wiser, more prepared for whatever lies ahead. Many of the most inspiring stories in history come from those who have faced and overcome great difficulties. Leaders, visionaries, and heroes often have backgrounds filled with struggle. It is not despite their hardships, but because of them, that they became who they were meant to be. The same principle applies to everyday life. The most resilient, kind, and wise people are often those who have walked through their own fires. They have been tested and refined, and the blessings that come from their struggles are evident in how they live, how they love, and how they inspire others. Even when difficulties do not seem to have a clear purpose, they still offer something valuable: the opportunity to develop inner strength. There are some challenges that do not lead to obvious rewards, but they still shape a person's character. Enduring suffering with grace, continuing to hope in the midst of pain, choosing kindness despite hardship, these are blessings in themselves. They create a depth of character that cannot be gained through ease and comfort. The difficulties also remind people of their resilience. Many times, people underestimate their own strength until they are tested. They assume they could never handle certain challenges, yet when those challenges come, they find an inner strength they did not know they had. Looking back, they realize they survived things they once thought impossible. This realization is a blessing, giving confidence that whatever comes next, they will have the strength to face it. In the end, difficulties shape, refine, and prepare people in ways that comfort never could. While no one wishes for hardship, those who embrace the lessons within them find that they were never truly setbacks, but stepping stones to something greater. The greatest blessings are often hidden in the very struggles that seemed impossible to endure, and those who recognize this truth will find themselves not only surviving their difficulties, but growing because of them.